Another day, another AI author on Kindle Unlimited. And this is honestly wild because a couple of days ago I posted a compilation of like authors who were caught using AI. And one of them I've already made a video about, which I'll link down below. But essentially it was an author who wrote this harem, werewolf, roar type Kindle Unlimited book. And in it, they were caught using AI because they forgot to delete the ChatGPT prompt. Anyways, go check it out. I'll link it down below because it's honestly funny as hell. But it happened again. Happened again, this time different author. So this starts on Threads. I love Threads. By somebody called Evelyn T. Rossing? Writing. So I'm pretty sure I'm reading an AI book, ... And they highlight the text in the book where it says, sure, here's the revised text with added detail about what was done to Julia just before she came undone. : Oh my god. Dunlock. Floored. Come on. Like, isn't the whole point of being an author, the beauty of being an author, I don't know, writing your damn book? I'm not an author though, so maybe there's something I don't know here. And the OP adds did some more checking. Quote, Scarlett Quinn, end quote, who is the name of the author. Now, I want to preface, okay, the Scarlett Quinn that's being talked about is Scarlett with one T. There's like two authors with the same name, so it's the one with one T. Has been publishing a book a week on Kindle Unlimited. 11 books between March 26th and June 5th. So this is the author in question going by the name Scarlett Quinn, again with one T. The one with two T's is a completely different person. But if you look at the book series, dude, these are the most AI looking covers ever. Like, what in the world? So this here is the cover to one of the books, and there's two women looking at each other. What in the AI stethoscope is happening over here? This is not how stethoscopes look like. I'm not a doctor, but I wanted to be one, and I had one of these things as a kid. It looks like it splits in two, you know what I mean? It looks like either there's a pen taped to her collarbone, which is weird, or the stethoscope splits in two at the bottom. Also odd. Again, here we have another really AI looking cover. I'm just saying, like, the big dead giveaway, honestly, is if a cover looks AI. I'm just being honest, okay? If your cover is AI, as a reader, I do read an okay amount of books, but like, I don't want to read your book if your cover is AI, because then I'm gonna think you used AI in the actual writing of the book. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to read a ChatGPT writing, okay? I want to read your writing because every author has their own really eloquent way of like spinning a story, and that's what makes it beautiful, okay? Now, I do understand there are obviously fringe scenarios where an author gets scammed with AI thinking they're purchasing real artwork, so that's a whole separate thing, but this kind of looks like they did it themselves. But yeah, see, this is the wild part because they're pumping out books like no tomorrow. This one's gonna release May 8th. This is gonna release May 15th. This is gonna release May 22nd. This is gonna release May 29th. This is gonna release June 5th. And like, again, there are fringe cases where an author has written a couple of books and has them as backlogs so they can release them closer together. It is a marketing strategy. Authors will do this when they have duologies or trilogies because you don't want a situation where like you release one book, people love it, and then you don't have a second book come in for 2 years and then people get bored, you know? So it is the actual valid strategy, but you don't often see authors, I don't know, dropping like 5, 6 books 1 week at a time. Like, that is super, super rapid. Ideally, authors don't even want to drop books like within weeks of each other because one book might take away attention from another book. I'm just all up in author business, even though I'm not one. Sometimes it happens because that's just how the publishing dates line up if you're a publisher. But it's like the artist equivalent of an artist dropping a fully rendered image like every single day. It is just feasibly not possible for you to do that unless you have an absolute massive bucket of a backlog to dig through. But let's get into the actual book contents itself, okay? Because this is on Kindle Unlimited, so, your girl is doing a little snooping. I just want us to take a look at the writing. Now, as an M- lover, I hate how M-dashes were co-opted by ChatGPT, and if anybody sees one, they're like, oh my god, you use AI. Leave me and my M-dashes alone. I like them. The writing is just bad. Like, first off, there is a ridiculous amount of M-dashes in the writing. Okay, this is one page, 3 M-dashes on one page. Like, you do not need to be using this much M-dashes in contemporary romance writing, okay? First off. And like, this is just stupid. I'm being so for real right now. Read this, okay? She sat, M-dash. Not deliberately, not as a decision, but because the bed was there and her legs had made the assessment, the sitting was preferable to standing and had acted without consulting the rest of her. Julia stood in front of her, looking down, and the angle was new, M-. The reversal of the usual dynamic. I feel like my brain just like turned inside out reading this. What do you mean she sat, not deliberately, not as a like, this is so much repetition, right? Like, not deliberately, not as a decision. I'm sorry, I'm getting really picky because I'm not an English major, but I have written a fair amount of essays in my day, okay? And like, it's literally redundant. Not deliberately means you did not do it with decision. So having this literally as the second follow-up phrase, you're repeating the same thing twice. It just makes your writing really bulky for no reason. Like here again, the reversal of the usual dynamic where it mentions Julia stood in front of her looking down, and then reversal where Julia's height and authority placed her above, and now Kara is now the one looking up. And there's a way to write this better, I'm sure of it, okay? And another one is just the pacing of the writing, okay? Because people were like, something feels off about ChatGPT writing. The pacing and the emphasis that ChatGPT writes with is very notable because it always writes with a certain level of flirtation and urgency that the average person does not use, okay? So here, again, Julia paused. The pause was not withdrawal. It was not the reconsideration of a woman who was about to change her mind. It was a check. M dash. A single deliberate moment. That's giving ChatGPT to me. That's giving a little bit of ChatGPT. The redundancy here. Maybe I'm just being really nitpicky, okay? It was not the reconsideration of a woman who was about to change her mind. Reconsideration means changing your mind. It's again repetition of phrases. But the juicy part, okay? Next page. 1 M dash, 2 M dashes, 3 M dashes, 4 M, wait, no, 5. I missed one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 M dashes in 2 paragraphs. Criminal, go to jail. Go to jail, don't pass go, don't collect $200, and I'm going to take your M-Dash's privileges away. Because stop it, okay? You do not need this many in 2 paragraphs. Kara reached for her. She took the hem of Julia's jumper in both hands and she pulled, gently, steadily, with an intention that did not require narration. Again, the fuck does this mean? And Julia came, and the pause was over. And then we get, sure, here's the revised text with added detail about what was done to Julia just before she came undone. I honestly would have never caught this because I wouldn't even have made it this far. If this is the writing in the book that I'm reading, I would have stopped 3 pages in, okay? I'm like ruthless with my DNFs. Stands for do not finishes for books. If you like get a little bit through and you're like, I'm done with this. I cannot, man. This is like pulling teeth. And again, you know the wild part about this is it means that you as an author never reread your own book. Okay, don't use ChatGPT to write a book for you so that you think you can print profits. First off, authors, they deserve to make more money than what they're currently making, but being an author is not like a lucrative position by any means. People do it for the love of the game, you know, and you clearly don't love the game because you didn't even read your own writing. Because if you read your book, first off, you would realize there's a criminal amount of M dashes in here. The writing is definitely way too redundant, but also secondly, thirdly, you would realize that you left the freaking ChatGPT blurb in here. So that means you didn't even read your own writing. Do you even like your own books if you don't even read them again? I don't know. It clearly shows there was no care into this because they didn't edit the book, because you gotta, I don't know, reread your book to edit the book, and then you would catch this. Don't just like delete all these ChatGPT stuff out of it to try to deceive people. Don't use it in the first place. But the criminal lack of care and thought in this cracks me up. This is the next page, right? What followed was intense and unhurried, a paradox that made sense only in the context of what had preceded it. I think one thing too that makes the writing so much of a sludge to trudge through is the fact that there's so much was in the writing. The urgency was in the wanting, blah, 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 blah. Each kiss was a revelation. Like, it makes things sound like it happened as an after effect, you know, and not like I'm not living it in the moment, but it's more so I'm living it as a memory of somebody else's retelling of the story. I don't know. It's just bad. There's no other way to describe it. And going back into the original thread, people were just memeing about this. People were saying you can't tell immediately, and that it's bad enough they wrote it with AI, but this also shows they barely did any editing or they would have found the prompt, which I completely agreed to. How? Again, I want to add, like, a couple people were dogging on OP for reading it in the first place, being like, how dare you read this? First off, I just hate, like, the literature elitism that happens in the book space. Sometimes you just want to read a little bit of garbage, okay? And it's fine, right? Like, let me eat my Lay's chips, let me eat my Cheez-Its, and let me read my trashy romance novel because I like it. It makes me feel good. Not everything that I read has to be peak literature, okay? So like there's that. And again, if you're not an artist, it's hard to spot AI images. So sometimes people look at it and they're like, oh, I mean, maybe they're just overly filtered. I don't know, right? They give it a little bit of a read, and sometimes the writing looks bad, but like you may not necessarily clock it as AI and you want to give some benefit of the doubt, and then, you know, later something like this pops up, right? It can definitely be one of those. I just don't like how people are like, how dare you read this thing that isn't good for you? Like, I like my trashy romance. Leave me alone. So at the end of the day, what are your thoughts on this whole situation? Right? The fact that it mirrors so similarly to the other one, not my packer or something like that, honestly crazy. It just sucks that there are beautiful creative spaces like the art space and the book space where people love to go consume these types of things for personal enjoyment, and it's a beauty of craft somebody worked really hard on. And there are people that pop into the space and think they're gonna use generative AI to make a quick buck and dilute the space. It just sucks to see. I love reading. If you're an author or somebody who likes to read, curious what book you're reading or what you like to write, I'm personally just very nosy about that. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on this whole situation. And again, don't send hate to any parties involved. If you like this video, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Don't forget to check me out on Etsy. I have digital art there for streamers and creators. I also have a coffee with free resources like a free sponsorship guide. And I stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays and Saturdays at 6 p.m. and Thursdays at 7:30. So I hope to catch y'all in a stream or in another video. Peace.